We are live!
How are you doing tonight?
How you doing? With a bit of an epic fail, we keep using this old iPhone for camera now and again whenever our batteries are low because we've only got 50% tonight, so yeah, we're just going to have to roll for as long as we can, right?
Oops. Switch that off and switch that off.
All muted. So tonight's episode is going to be Notions of Emotions.
Notions of emotions.
Holly says, hola! Hola, Holly.
And Samar Habib.
Cassie Banks is on, and there.
And
Happy days.
so yeah, notions of emotions. We've had a discussion during training tonight, all about emotions and understanding that they're there and that they serve a purpose. Yeah, we had some real gems that hopefully we're going to share with you tonight.
Well, I think what sparked off is I was watching the movie I can't believe I say it. Equilibrium.
Equilibrium.
Boom. And basically in that movie, it's just a sci-fi in the future where emotions are illegal, and they all take this little drug so that they're just almost like robots. They're just and people get arrested and shot on site. Proper fascist state for showing signs of emotion.
What do they call it? Is it field crime or?
Yeah, and there's something
What do they call it?
You're an offender. You're an offender.
Are you feeling?
Yeah. How do you feel about that? I don't feel anything at all.
I don't understand the question.
Yeah. So obviously they've gone through a lifetime of just not feeling anything. Absolutely nothing. So, and naturally as the movie progresses, Christian Bale stops taking his meds. He starts to feel things. But what's interesting is when you watch it, he's walking up to work and he's not taking his meds and he just sees this guy running his hand up the rail. So he takes his glove off and it's like, all the things you just take for granted, he's never really experienced that before. He just never...
Although you can sense the touch, you don't really feel an emotion about it, and you know how it feels in your hand. You like it? Do you not? What does it feel like? You know, all this kind of stuff.
So as much as like emotions can sometimes be the bane of our life, the fact that we've got them is like we're so damn lucky. Because otherwise you'd just be, you know, if you're ever worried or if you're ever having a bad time and you're filled with nothing but bad emotions, go watch this movie and then you'll be appreciative that you've got any emotion at all.
One of my favourite scenes in it is the start of the best scene, and I did a lot of kind of reading up on psychopaths and sociopaths and such like. Now they said that the difference between a normal person and a psychopath, so normal psychopath would be somebody like James Bond, for instance. Okay, James Bond was a psychopath, and in a great way. Okay, he was a very handy person to have around. So the difference is, when you get a normal person, you put them on one of those...
I know the sheet you're talking about, Polygraph.
It's polygraph, polygraph. So they monitor your heart rate and your blood pressure and your whatever else. And a normal person, if you told a normal person what's going to happen, okay, they start playing things out in their head, and if you say, right, a SWAT team are going to burst through that door any minute and they're going to attack you, they're going to pin you down, they're going to come through the window here, there, and they're going to be a fire, going to burst over there, and you've got to take action, a normal person would be like, alright, okay, and they'd flap a little bit, but then when it all happens, they would flap even more, they'd be like, and they'll go all over the place. Whereas a psychopath, they tend to go, and they think so much about it, they play it so vividly in their head, and the polygraph goes absolutely crazy, but then when it actually happens, it's like a deadline. And it's the coolest scene because I had just finished doing all that studying and research into psychopaths, and in that scene, when he's basically, they're like asking these questions, and it's going crazy for no real reason, and they're like, shh, and it goes, and they're like, and that's when he just jumps up.
Oh shit, yeah. Because he's getting quizzed, and it's ultimately come to the penultimate scene where he's been caught out for what he's been doing wrong. And he's not meant to be feeling these emotions, but that's backing up the fact he's off his meds. But then you're right, it's only just flatlines. And even the Dr. Honey, he just goes, oh shit. So he says something, or OD, or whatever he says, and then he just goes to town. Plus, what's pretty cool about the movie, I mean, sidetrack for emotions, is the way that they deal with, they do like the gun katas.
And
they just, you know, they treat them like they're swords, you know?
And I guess it goes off the whole, you know, in a gunfight, most people would normally flat, like, oh my god, I could get shot here, and whereas they've got this cold, calculated way of the best way to survive in a gunfight is to position yourself so that you've got the best kill radius while maintaining a small target.
Yeah,
and
small moving target as well.
Target, so you're constantly moving to different positions while still maintaining your kill radius. It's awesome.
It's a good movie, but ultimately, it's like I say, it deals with the concept that they've ruled out emotion.
Yeah.
So if you could, I mean, some of these people long to feel nothing
because
they're going through a hard time. It's like, I wish I could feel nothing.
Yeah. And you often they say that life is like a pendulum, and you can talk about any aspect of life. If you go too far one way, you will swing back the other way. And the type of person that says, I want to feel nothing, is because they've been so far one way that they just need to feel nothing at all.
Yeah.
They've felt so much that it's just like, I just don't want to feel anymore. And that's why they like a pendulum. But very much like a pendulum, once you felt nothing, if you get to the point where you feel nothing, okay, and some people do. Mm-hmm. Some people have felt so much that they've just become this walking zombie almost, don't feel anything at all. But then if you can get yourself out of that state, it will just slowly but surely, you'll centre yourself.
I mean, it's been suggested that performers and singers, and especially comedians as well, because they're on stage, and the bigger they are, the worse it gets for them. They're giving out a lot of energy, and then they're receiving a lot of energy back. And at the end of the night, they're on such a high that they'll then reach for something to bring them down.
Yes.
Now this is where the bad cycle happens with drug addiction and drink, because if they're on some sort of tour, they're maybe playing 3 or 4 nights a week, getting on these highs and then using things to bring them down. But of course, if you heavy drink, the next morning you're even lower, so then they take things to lift them up, and so on and so forth. They end up in this terrible cycle.
Cocktail of drugs.
But like Stephen was saying, you just go too far in one direction, it springs back the other.
So I think one of the main things that we were talking about during training was emotions are there to tell you something. So I read a book about a bunch of other stuff, but one of the things it says is all about understanding your emotions, and it is there to tell you something. So and trying to disconnect with your emotions, both negative and positive. So if you feel something, understanding that your emotions are not you. Your emotions are just there to tell you something about a certain situation or a person or a thing. So if you feel happy about something, rather than saying, I'm really happy, you just say, I feel happy about that. Okay, and you can analyse it in your head, like, okay, that obviously is important to me, I'm feeling happy about that, that's a good thing, great. And then you associate with that to stamp your authority on yourself as a happy person. Then if something does upset you, then you find it harder to allow that emotion through, because you've identified yourself as a happy person. Mm-hmm. Therefore you just like everything? Really? That's not the case.
I mean, what I was talking to you earlier was, this happens to me, it used to happen to me a lot more, but when it happens to me nowadays, it's few and far between. But I'll sometimes be driving, and my thoughts will wander to something, it could be anything, that will either leave me feeling slightly stressed or anxious. But the problem is, you'll get to traffic lights or traffic, and your mind will get interrupted for a moment. And then what happens is, you start driving again, you think, you still feel stressed, you still feel either anxious or annoyed about something, but you can't remember what it was. So you spend the next 5 minutes going, what the hell, man? Like, what was I annoyed at? And I always make a point of trying to remember exactly what it was that upset me, if you like, and then trying to work through the problem as quickly as possible, because otherwise I'll be left feeling anxious and stressed for at least an hour or two later until I forget about it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sit and think, Chris, what was I thinking about? And I have to roll back what I was
thinking. You have to deal with it,
you know, and then when you finally work out what it was, you spend a couple minutes working through that problem. So you're like, right, whoa, like maybe my thoughts had drifted too, because 31st of January's just passed, and generally you have to do your tax return, and HMRC are always on your case, and if you just forget to do it, you get a fine. Now, I might have been driving last week and hadn't quite paid my tax bill yet, and I thought about when I'm in the car, oh Christ, I need to pay my tax bill and blah blah blah, but then I forgot to do it, and then as I was driving on, I thought, what was I thinking about that got me stressed? And then when I remembered what it was I'd forgotten, when you remember what you've forgotten, then I was like, oh, that's fine, I've got a gap at 12, I'll go on with my laptop and I'll pay it then. And then that's it, you relax, you flushed away that stress and on your way.
Yeah.
But it's like Stephen was saying there, is that you know, by attaching yourself to a situation, so you're happy about something, or you're happy, you're not just a happy person, you're happy because of this
situation, yeah.
And it works the other way, so that I was anxious because of this one thing. I was anxious because I hadn't paid my tax or done my tax return yet. But then once you sort of compartmentalise it, I'll deal with that emotion goes away.
And you can soon see why. I mean, and everybody's got that in life. You might be one yourself. Those people who are just miserable all the time, they're just, you know, you get people who are just sad, they're just down, and you try and speak to them, and they talk about, you know, different situations in life, and there's nothing really standing out, but they're just miserable, they complain about stuff, there's constant sad, but it's probably due to something that just undealt with, that they've forgotten about, but the emotion has stayed with them. So like the whole anxiety thing, if you get like, I'm feeling anxious, but if you can't remember what that thing was, like you're just going to be like, I'm anxious about something, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I've forgotten, damn it.
So I think that our main point is detach yourself from your emotions. Understand that they're there to tell you something, they're there to tell you how you feel about a certain situation. They do not define you. One of my strongest principles that I love is to say the words I am. Now, the words I am are some of the most powerful words that you could ever say, because whatever comes after them can then start to define you, and therefore it's really important not to say anything. So we can talk about emotions to start with. Let's say, you know, I am happy. Now, I think I said as an example before, if you just say, I'm a happy person, to then be sad about something, because being sad can be very helpful. It tells you, again, how you feel about something. You then don't give yourself permission to feel sadness or even hate something, get a little bit stronger, because you're not, I'm the positive, happy person. But often in case it's the negative, you know, I'm miserable, I'm feeling depressed, or I am this, I am that. It's really important to look at your situation and detach yourself emotionally from it. Okay, understand your emotions are there, and absolutely listen to them, but understand what they're telling you.
Notions of emotions.
Notions of emotions.
Right, we've been neglecting the comments here a wee bit, so now we've only actually got 20% battery left, so
we're not going to be on for long.
I know, so we're just going to have to get through these comments where we can.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kovac said, do you hear about Jordan Peterson? We were just literally watching that video. Yeah. So yeah, we have heard of him. What else? There's the tablecloth, Thomas Hubble. Did you notice that? Did somebody comment on it? Is that why you went?
Yeah, it was Steve, I think. Was it Steve?
Tax talk will kill the mood. It always does. I know a stress relief I'd like to share.
Steve MacArthur mentioned the tablecloth. We're proper rehearsal slacking tonight. We're too busy trying to get a phone to work for to get you guys on. Forgot everything else.
What else? I am happy to see the coaches again. Good on you, Gerard. Horse girl, I can take the shirts to the laundry. I'd never be sad rubbing wrap. Hello, Karen PH. I recognise your face, Karen. You must be on. What are you on? Are you on our Lose a Stone and Tone group? Is that right? Tell me if I'm right, Karen. Your avatar rings a bell.
I think she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she is.
The Lose a Stone and Tone group is doing really well. So the challenge for this week within that group was to live or get by, set a target for yourself financially and get by within the week. And so far, everybody's well below their budget anyway, aren't they?
Everyone's doing great.
So they're doing really well. So
it's amazing what you can do, what you can find when you put your mind to it. You know, if you really challenge yourself, say, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And it's funny because often the whole point of it was so many people complain about spending too much money or not having enough money.
Yeah.
But then you still go shopping and buying just willy-nilly and spending the money.
Throw the money away.
Yeah. So that Lose a Stone and Tone group is going to change. It's not just about saving money, it is about losing a stone in tone.
We're just using that as a challenge for the first 2 weeks, because the challenge is going to change on Sunday night. I'll post into the group again the changes, but ultimately that group is going to become an accountability group, which is what it was always designed to be. So we're trying to build it up so you can all support one another, and then what we'll do is we'll chase you up at the start of the week for your goals and hold you accountable for it. Your goals can be absolutely anything, hopefully health, fitness related.
So Horse Girl, is that Lindsay? No, that's
maybe not.
No. Stephen, if I ever get divorced, let me know. I think you would know.
Actually, that was what we said when we saw Sarah today. So I was in town with my wife and we're walking up the high street. We just registered little Misha. I actually didn't want to register. I wanted her to go up unregistered and then make her into an assassin. And anyone that upset us would just send in the Misha.
That'd be cool.
They'd be like, we don't have her on record. The government's looking for her. There's no record of it. But anyway, we was registering it and we bumped into Stephen's wife. And the first thing she says was, I've just left Stephen. And I was like, indefinitely? Or? But she mentioned just literally left your company for that
day.
We
had just been for coffee and lunch.
Thanks, Thomas. Good day, good man.
Yeah, Stephen Perry, can I just say one thing? Assess your own emotions. When it comes to someone else's emotions, you don't have the proper point of view to assess them. We're not really assessing anybody's point of view, and we're not assessing your emotions. What we're saying is generally emotions, as in everything from happiness and joy to sadness, is the whole point of an emotion is there to tell you something. We're not judging anyone or assessing your personal emotions, but we're giving you, or we're trying to inspire you to assess your own emotions. That's the point of this.
And to work out what it is that's making you happy. So if there is something making you sad, you're going to try and get to the bottom of it. If something making you happy, something making you anxious, something that's making you angry, it's about tagging the reason to that emotion so you can better understand it and better deal with it. Oh, we just got a donation. Thank you from Ken. Yeah, you can say that.
Tactful Cactus.
Oh, that's actually not that bad, was it? It looked worse.
Ken Tactful Cactus.
No, Stephen said, no, I wasn't saying you were, just I thought it was an important thing to note. You can only assess your own emotions. Yes, that's exactly, that's our point.
Absolutely. Our point is that you should assess your own emotions.
But that someone else can assess your emotions, because it's...
I think our main point is people have these feelings and never give them much thought. It's being mindful. You know, it's a mindfulness practice. You know, if you feel happy about something, then great. You know, you want to find out what that thing is and think about it so you can feel happy again. Yeah,
and if you're ever not feeling happy, your go-to might be go and do that thing that made you happy.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we've all been there. You know, you get home from a day's work, or you wake up in the morning and you're like, I feel really happy for some reason, and it's a great emotion to have. And you're kind of like, don't know why I'm really happy. This is really weird. And if you knew exactly why you were happy, you're like, great, I'm going to do that again. But sometimes you just can't. Maybe it's been a nice dream you've had, maybe you've just slept really well. You know, sometimes something catches your peripheral vision and it just makes you really happy. Maybe one of your neighbours is getting changed and you get some nipples shown. You know, but your conscious mind doesn't pick it up, your subconscious mind does. So yeah, what we're trying to say is be mindful of your emotions, John Padawan.
My happiness usually stems from there's things to look forward to. And like, for example, it's Super Bowl Sunday tomorrow night, so I'm looking forward to that because my brother and I, for the last, I don't know how many years, at least over 20 years, always watch the Super Bowl without fail. Now, in recent years, I'll be honest, I've been a bit lax in following it leading up to Super Bowl, but we've always watched the Super Bowl. And of course, for us, that means staying up really late on a Sunday night, even when you've got work the next day. So I look forward to that. We get loads of steaks in, just loads of nice food. We don't drink any beer because we've got to work the next day, plus I usually have to drive down to see them. But nonetheless, when I've got something to look forward to, that makes me happy. So if I was thinking, why am I so happy today? It's because it's Super Bowl Sunday.
See, I've never been in the Super Bowl, kind of like.
Have you not?
Yeah. I'd much rather.
Well, the rugby's on tomorrow, right? Yes,
yeah. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to the rugby and I'm going for dinner afterwards. It's going to be cool. What was I going to say there? The one thing that's made me smile this week, there was a there was a picture that's seen on social media, and there's this. It said Super Bowl, but it was in the windows of buses, 2 buses, and it was like Super Bowl, but the one bus was like superb, and then the other bus was ill, so it was like superb ill. It was awesome. I was like, yeah, you didn't really think that one through.
Oh, what was it I was laughing at this week, just to do with balls? Oh, it was Holly on, it was either our Lose the Store and Tone group or it was in Google Plus, but she was saying how she'd made lots of bowls of soup. She'd put an E in it.
Damn right you did.
Yeah, you better watch those bowls of soup, they're not so great for you. I love a good typo.
Feel a little rumble of it. What's that? Oh, it's my bowels of soup.
Oh man. Kilts and fuzzy chests.
You just randomly say anything. Horse girl. Being bald just means that man has extra testosterone in his system. What? You gibbering on about?
They're probably on about my bald patch, it must be that. There's 2 of us standing here. One's going slightly bald and they're starting talking about baldness. Surely.
What's this? Sydney. I'm in Sydney this weekend. Sydney is very accommodating.
Whenever I see the name Sydney, I just think of Scream.
That's what I think of.
Oh, Sydney, do you want to play a game? Was that the right voice?
Yeah.
Can't be far wrong. Or am I doing the scary movie voice? Yeah. But I want to watch Scream again. Would they be cheesy if you watched them now, you think?
No, I think it's it's one of the scariest, not scariest ones, it's quite creepy.
Yeah.
For when it came out, it was like proper, like, whoa.
Yeah, proper stab fest. I just remember the penultimate scene in the first one, and then they've got to like stab each other, and he stabbed his mate 4 times, like, oh man, he did. he's like crying. What was her name again? Sydney. Who played Sydney?
Neve Campbell.
That's it, yeah, that's right. I know, I think you're right, yeah.
She's quite hot.
Where is Gina, Stephen? Yeah, where is Gina? Oh, she'll be, is she at college at the moment, I think? Or working, I can't remember. Or working because of college, I can't remember.
Stony. Who's Stony?
Stony P? Yeah, meaning for Stony P, yeah. Have you guys ever tried acupuncture for muscle injury? Steve Robertson. No, however, a client of mine put her back out pulling her bag through the airport, believe it or not. And
back behind her.
It was behind her. It wasn't in front, Stephen. It was behind. She was on the phone at the time. Reading a book. When she got to her car, she drove. So when she's pulling her bag behind her, something happened. It hit something. She jarred her back, and she was in pain for a lot of weeks. And she went and tried acupuncture for it, and actually within 3 sessions, it fixed it. Yeah. So I mean, I've never had it personally. I think for some things it works.
In my opinion, I think physios nowadays use it too much. It's almost like the things with the wonder cure. I think it can serve a purpose in certain times. But I went over my ankle playing volleyball, and it's pretty bad. Okay, just sprained all the muscles up the side of my leg and everything else. But I went to see a physio, and at the time they put this acupuncture, and they put it right into the swelling. And it was like, I jumped off the bloody sofa. I was like, that's pretty sore. Oh no, he says it's meant to be sore. It's obviously pushing the skin, this, that, and the other. And I was like, it did nothing at all. But yeah.
I just think of, do you remember Nutty Professor?
Yeah.
So it's the montage when he's trying to get fit and lose weight for his date, and then he's lying on the bed, and he's obviously gone to get acupuncture to try and stem his hunger, and he's a couple pins, and it keeps bouncing back to the same scene. He's like, "You still hungry?" Yes. And then it just pans out at one point, and he's just covered in pins.
Hey coaches, and then off with Winston Churchill. Give him a shout out from me. I'm missing him. You'll listen to the video later.
Big shout out to Stephen Fotheringham
from Anne. Because you're not going to see those comments, are you?
No, that's right. Acupuncture worked
on he's there. And he's right there.
There you are, Anne. You're sorted.
Hello, guys. I'm back.
Independence Day when he's flying up the Jap side of the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. What else? What have we been up to this week other than that?
We had a great meeting yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Very creative, just to kind of consolidate the business a bit more. We've got quite a few kind of branches going on.
We've got some exciting things coming to the clan as well.
What we're coming to the clan?
The things we were discussing with Hollister.
Oh, of course, of course. Oh man.
So we're going to be adding stuff to our clan. So for our clan members, you'll have more than just workouts in there coming soon. So we're working hard to give you value for money.
This is something that we wanted to introduce ages ago because it'd be really handy for everybody. And they were like, oh, we really need to do this thing. And it's just not us. Like
It's just not us.
Yeah, it's just not us. I think other companies do things like this, like other individuals do it, and then their own little way and whatnot. And there's a couple of big people in the world, but it's just not what we do. We're like, nah, can we try and tweak ourselves? Nah. But we've come up with a genius plan, a genius way of introducing this for you guys.
Yeah.
Without us being not ourselves.
So we're down to our last 10% battery. That's why Stephen has to click on the screen, because it's that notification that pops up on iPhone saying 10% remaining.
Yeah. Does it come up again at 5% or?
I don't think it just
cuts off. So if we cut off, I'm sorry, we're not coming back on.
Because we've got no way to get back on. Because this one won't go on, and Stephen's one's got less battery than that. So I suppose yours is like, you've got 11%.
I've got 11%. But I've got more now.
You what?
Because you had more than me, I guess we were live streaming.
I'm actually streaming on that when you're just watching, so it's the... Neil's asking, how's Misha doing, Rab? She's doing really good, sir, so like I say, we just registered her today. She's getting big now. Because she was 3 weeks premature, she now weighs £6.8. Nice. Yeah. That's good though. She was 5'13" when she was born, and then naturally they lose a little bit after that. Yeah. But she's up to £6.8 now, or whatever it is. So she's still tiny, but getting a bit more weight, because that's the thing with little babies, you pick them up and like, there's not a lot of weight to them, so you've got to, and I'm quite heavy handed, so I'm just like gingerly kind of.
It's so funny because like Rab's quite a big guy, and when I came in to see Misha for the first time, you're sat on the sofa and you're kind of like, and there's this tiny little person, and I'm kind of like, you're not.
She's in there somewhere.
It's impossible not to look cute.
But when she can support her neck now as well, or not quite. She can lift her head up. She wouldn't be able to support it for any amount of time, but it's just all wee things, isn't it, when they get stronger and stronger. So yeah, all good. Neil saying, good news, 6'8", making me feel fat. Question for you, are there any exercises you do to help with the blues that come with having so few hours of daylight in the winter? Well, exercise in general get the endorphins going, so, and if you're not feeling, because granted if you're suffered by, they call it SAD, isn't it, seasonal affective disorder, what to do, set yourself something easy, like a power walk, something small that mentally won't take too much commitment, but then once you get going, once you break a sweat, the endorphins will start flowing and you'll probably be able to do more. So maybe set yourself out something simple like a power walk and some crunchies, but then once you've broken a sweat, maybe add in some press-up squats and just keep adding to it. And once you get the endorphins flying, they'll pick up.
I was just saying to Rab there, when we were having a meeting last night, we ended up having a little bit of red wine. So I had to leave my car at the pub. And so I went to get it this morning, and to start with I was kind of like, got to get up. My first client's at 6:30, it means I've got to like leave. I actually left the house at 5:30, 5:40 should I say, to go get the car. And at that time in the morning I was kind of like, I don't really have to walk anywhere in the morning, that kind of sucks. So I took the dog, and actually within the first 3 seconds of stepping out the door, I was kind of like, actually this is pretty good. And then every time I took it, I was like, this is good. And I got to the car, I was disappointed that I had to stop. I was kind of like, I was enjoying that walk. So yeah, like Rab said, just choose a very small goal and say, right, I'm going to go out and go for a walk. I'm going to get my exercise gear on, I'm going to go for a walk. And then as soon as you get out, you're like, this is pretty good, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go for a jog, you know, and then you might stop and do some press-ups in the middle of the road. I didn't do that.
Did you? Right, we're seriously running out of battery now, so we might have to call it for this evening. Yeah. What else? Is there anything we've got to say before we shoot off? Let me think. Next week we've got
Samar Habib's birthday today.
Oh,
happy birthday!
From Lebanon. Is it what were you going to ask?
Is it Samar or Samar or Samir?
Anne's asking how's Quincy. There's your resident Quincy. He's still there. Quincy's doing well. Quincy. Actually, I was lying on my bed the other day and I rang Steve in to organise filming, and you were on the phone to someone else. You were like, I'll phone you back. So I put my phone on my chest and I'm lying like this. And it was weird because I thought it would vibrate quite violently, and I would know. So I'm lying there just sort of chilling, and then I felt a wee tickle, but I wasn't sure. I was like, and then I looked at it and I was like, it's actually ringing, but I couldn't feel it. That's what you said. Yeah. It's insulated.
I was like, did Quincy muffle it?
Yeah. Right guys, so apologies for the short one tonight, but we are low on battery, and so we're giving you a lesson about notions of emotions. So if you go and assess your own emotions about everything, actually, so when you feel great, try and tag it to something that's what's making you feel great. If you're feeling sad, anxious, try and tag it to whatever it is that's making you sad, anxious, depressed, angry.
And if it's an emotion that you want to feel again, then you say, right, well, I'm going to replicate that situation in some other way, again, every day if you can. And if it's an emotion that you do not want to feel again, then deal with the situation that caused it.
And if you're unsure how to do that, we also have a video called Action or Acceptance, which is a great one for dealing with negative emotions, right? You know, if you can do something about it, try and do something about it. If you can't, then you just have to accept that that's an issue and try and release some of that tension.
Action or acceptance. Be mindful of your thoughts.
Yeah. And fingers crossed for Super Bowl Sunday. I'm going to be very neutral here. You shoot for whoever team you want.
And Scotland are playing Wales at rugby tomorrow. You going to watch it with us? Who's going to watch it with us?
Fingers crossed for Scotland. Fingers crossed. Right guys, we're going to catch you on for our clan members we'll see you in Google+, for everyone else we've got Twitter or our Facebook. And thank you for all our patrons that have been supporting the channel. So we now have a patron, patreon.com.
You can become Patreon, just go to our website, it's right at the top. Become a patron and you get loads of bunch of
so February's calendar's on there, so our whole calendar's on Patreon now. We've got some behind the scenes videos, so the man that creates our Spot the Scots for us, Liam, we've got behind the scenes, you get to meet him, and there's a behind the scenes with Dr. Kirsty. There's loads, we're trying to pack it with as much stuff on there as you can, with stuff that you can't find anywhere else. So if that's interesting for you, go check it out. Yeah. Right. Have a good evening, have a good weekend. Super Bowl Sunday!
Love you all.